Meriwether County Board of Commissioners, February 25th, 6 p.m. regular call meeting. Please silence your cell phones and other electronic devices. Please stand while we do the invocation by Mr. Danny Stevens and the pledge to the flag.
If you would, bow your heads with me, please. Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this opportunity to come together, Lord, as leaders of Meriwether County. Lord, we ask that you preside over this meeting, Lord. Protect us, forgive us where we've fallen short. Give us traveling mercies as we travel home, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is for us to adopt the agenda. Are there any additions or subtractions to the agenda for tonight?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion from the board.
So moved.
Second.
All right, you get that?
Amen.
Okay, all in favor? Next item is presentations. Number one is Lanny Rampley, Meriwether County Cattlemen's Association.
Good evening, sir. Good to see you.
Pass it down.
Read there.
My name is Lanny Rampley, and I'm the president of the Meriwether County Cattlemen's Association. Our association has 122 members as of February the 1st. We currently meet at McCoy Grading in their safety training room. It seats about 72 people. We have maxed the space out several times, and we're in need of a larger space. We're proposing an ag center and an arena to come to this county. The ag center will be approximately 60 by 80 space and have an upgraded front facade and would provide offices for Meriwether County Extension, a large meeting room that would hold about 120 people, and a community kitchen. This would allow for educational programs from the UGA Extension, as well as space for the community to create homemade goods in our kitchen. The arena will be a covered space, and it will be approximately 200 by 300 feet, and it will host events for the community and other organizations. Events could include farmers markets, students' farm day, and other community events. We would recommend steer shows, heifer shows, horse shows, and rodeos could use this facility, and this would help to raise students' interest in these areas. Meriwether County does not have a large animal vet, and it is in hope and a huge need for this community. There is a legislative bill proposed to promote large animal vets and increase numbers in rural counties. This arena would provide an area for vets to come into our county and practice safely. I want to speak about Students Farm Day for just a second. We've been doing this now for 2 years, the Meriwether County Cattlemen's have, and we do it over at Darrell McCoy's farm. And we bring every fifth grader in the county in by bus. We do this in conjunction with Meriwether County School System. And we have about 50 volunteers, I should say, too, at the same time. These kids are exposed to all kinds of stuff, but horses, milking demonstrations of dairy cows, beef cows, poultry, vegetables, and DNR brings pelts and skulls of our local wildlife. The community kitchen is part of the Ag Center. A community kitchen would bring a large resource to the county. This can be used for educational purposes on topics like canning and food safety, as well as community resource for small-scale production. Community kitchens are often launching pads for small businesses. They're often used for large-scale cooking for county events and will provide a space that is open to all. Meriwether County has over 80% rural population, and agriculture is the top industry in our state and county. Meriwether County Cattlemen's Association and the Meriwether County Farm Bureau are in support of a building and an ag center, as many of our surrounding counties have built in the last few years. This type of facility has many uses as well as rental income value. To move forward with this concept, we're asking for the county approval and support. The county commissioners will play a big role in the project, and it will show a commitment to growing the top industry in our county. The immediate need of this project is land, and we're asking for a commitment of 15 acres. Your approval will allow us to move forward with detailed plans. On the next page is a picture of the Heard County Arena over in Franklin, Georgia. The top picture is just the arena itself. The bottom picture is the covered seating, which we would have down one side of the arena, and then we'd have 50 feet in the other back side of the arena for housing livestock, horses, etc., for rodeos and stuff. The next picture is a picture from Monroe County of an ag center that they have just built. And we haven't seen it yet, but we want to go see it and see what we can take from that. The last thing you see is some land across the road from where we're at right now, next to West Georgia Technical, which is where we're proposing we go into, and put the ag center in the front, and somehow we'll fit the arena in the backside of that property. So that's what we're proposing. I'm going to ask Kenneth Murphy, make a few comments, and then we'll take questions and answer. We probably have more questions than y'all do. So.
Kenneth Murphy, dairy farmer in Meriwether County and president of Meriwether County Farm Bureau. We have 720 farm members here in the county. We are willing to put some seed money into this if y'all donate some land. We'll be heavily involved in it, and several counties around has this facility. Basically, Meriwether County is probably the one of the few that don't have it, something like this. So I think it'll help the number one industry in the county, not per se creating students to come out here and get their hands dirty, putting in the soil, but creating outside jobs as pertain to agriculture. And we just in full support of this. At some point in time when we decide who owns the building, who's going to operate the building, then we'll commit to a pretty good chunk of money going into this to pay for the engineering and startup for so we can get a grant from the state or the USDA for this project. I hope y'all will maybe look into some splash money too for it. Also above the land. That's all I got to say.
That's the biggest concern he mentioned, is who's going to own the building and who's going to operate the building. And we're open for discussion about that. So if y'all have any questions, we'll try to answer them between Kenneth and Darryl McCoy and myself.
So who are you expecting to pay for construction?
I'm sorry.
Who are you expecting to pay for construction of the building?
Well, we've talked to plenty of House representatives, and what we've been told by them as well as Commissioner of Agriculture is you get your land acquired because you're going to need about 20-25% of the value of the property, of the whole thing. If it's $1 million project, you're going to need about $250,000 either in land or in commitments of money. And when you get that, we'll come to put it together, bring it to us in June, July of this year, and they will present it because appropriations happen in September. So they will want this in July to make sure there's no questions or concerns about it, and they will send it to appropriations to find money. And Tyler Harper said there's plenty of money out there, you just got to find it.
Yeah, and both facilities you mentioned, we compete, they're regular. The one in Monroe County is real nice. The one over in Heard County, I've been saying it before I became a commissioner, and I was talking to Theron in the past and so forth, and I kept saying, there's grants available. I said, we need something like that in Meriwether County. We go to all of them. There's one in Barnesville. We go to the one over in, it's on the other side of Jackson. But all of them, just about every weekend, something's going on being rented. And then during the week, you have to pay. If you go there to look your horse around, they got a box there. You got to drop $10 a horse in there and so forth. So I'm surprised we haven't already got something, but I'm sure the rest of the board is going to want to know how much the state's going to give, how much y'all going to give, how much we might or can or can't give. And I'm sure legal will advise us too on which direction, how to figure out who's going to own the building if we give up the land, and maybe not particularly that one spot, but I do know the county has property. We can, whatever legal helps us figure out how to make it work. I love the idea myself.
Well, we looked around and we know across the street here, that's a 30-acre spot. And we were asking for half of that. So there may be other spots, we just don't know where they are, okay?
Right.
Also, the community kitchen is a big thing beyond agriculture. If anybody's got a garden or something, want to come can their peas or corn or whatever, then they can pay a fee and come and use that kitchen.
Right. Yeah, and the rodeo comes through about once or twice, and they use the arena over at Quaker's Farm, and they pay dearly for that, so they'd be glad to be in a county facility or cattleman's facility too.
Well, there's a lot of economic development opportunities for this too, because if these people come in for these shows, they're going to need to eat, they're going to need to buy gasoline, and they need a place to sleep. So there's other opportunities that this will bring to the county if we can get this going.
If I understand what y'all are hoping for, and we'll have to discuss it since it's real estate stuff later, but y'all looking for some kind of commitment. That way you can present that to the state, and then we'll see where it goes.
That's correct.
Well,
If there ain't gonna be no money and we can't afford to do it ourselves, we got too many other buildings around here to do, then
Right.
hopefully we gave it our best shot. But that's what you're looking for at this time.
We also need to figure out who's gonna actually own and maintain the building.
Yeah. But before we go any further, we just need to know if y'all are committed to it, if you're interested in it, because we're gonna have to spend some money to get an architecture to do some drawings and stuff like that, and configure it on a piece of property, wherever that piece of property may be. And to do that, we need some sort of commitment going forward, I think.
Well, to save some money on the architect, all the other counties would probably be glad to hand theirs over to you.
We're hoping so.
That'll work. And,
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. I'm glad y'all are trying to go forward with it. I don't basically know how much money the county would be able to put in, but it may be to a point where we could at least maybe give some land. But like Gene said, we'll talk legal and we'll discuss it between us.
Well, we appreciate that. We've been talking about this for a year now, and I told Kenneth and Darrell, I said, let's go to the county and see what they say. I mean, so far we've just been talking about it. Let's go see the people and that's going to make it happen. Okay.
I think when you reached out and asked me where to go, and I told you, get on the agenda and come talk to us and stuff, we rent for the 4-H agent, right? Ashley is her name?
Correct.
But we rent from like the school board, and we have to pay for that building and so forth. So it might be through this whole process, we get a commitment too that they have a lifetime office there where we don't have to pay rent, and we know where the 4-H agent's at. The best place to be is at an ag center.
Right, yeah.
So there's some other benefits from it.
Well, I think that's all got to be worked out with y'all and the school board as well, because they pay part of those salaries too, I think. I'm not sure.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Which I think we spoke to Dr. Griffin. He's all on board with this. He's committed.
Oh, it'd be great. It'd be great to see if we could try to get some 4-H stuff back in the schools again, like they used to.
Well, we went, Darrell and I have presented to Dr. Griffin to put ag teacher back in Greenville High School. They got one in Manchester, but they have committed and are having the interviews now for the ag teacher for Greenville High School. So
Awesome.
we're gonna have them in both schools coming this fall.
Just to go one step further, if we could get this going, we need to get these kids involved and have a steer and heifer show. We're committed to offer up some livestock to these kids and let them take them home and take care of them and raise them for a period of time and come back and show them in some shows. And then we'll work out the difference for them as to they get something for their efforts and we get something for our cow at the end of the process. But a lot of these kids don't have the money to go out, especially the way cattle prices are today. Okay, it's a good time to be in the cattle business. If you came back Monday today in the cattle business, you never will. You need to figure out to do something else, okay?
Yeah.
So,
I miss those days. 10 years straight, I bought the grand champion, reserve champion at the Coweta County Fairgrounds for 10 years. And then all of a sudden they just let it drop and go away. So,
yeah, I started showing cattle when I was about 8 or 10 years old, okay?
yes, sir.
It's a very interesting project. We have some questions we need to get answered, and some investigation we need to do.
Y'all give us a call if you have questions. We'll
Yes,
meet
sir.
with you again, whatever we need to do, okay? Thank you for your time.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Thank you. All right, next is Nathan Kloss, repairs needed on Brown Gilbert Road.
You gotta advance the slides for me? I got like 8 or 9 slides just to be able to throw some maps up there. I know you don't
Have a
wanna
printout of that by chance? Have a printout of that?
have this. Yeah, here's the electronic copy, yeah. Don't wanna, nobody wants to look at a long PowerPoint presentation, but I'm a wildlife biologist for Georgia DNR. One of the great privileges of my life is I manage Squirrel Bluff Wildlife Management Area. And I know we've all been there, we love it, the Upson side where the park is, the day I got married, my wife and I jumped off that big rock in the river. I'm sure you guys have good stories about it too. Had some good family memories hopefully there. The wildlife management area is a little different from the park side, and a substantial part of it is in Meriwether County. Very pretty place, as you can see, a lot of it's pretty wild. But it has a very common mission in terms of the WMA versus the park, in that, we're providing recreation for the community. We're doing conservation of wildlife on site, and of course that spins off in terms of money for the environment or for the local community. So we've got hunters that come here. Most of them, about half of them, are from sort of the southern exurbs of Atlanta area. And a lot of those folks are spending, more than one night in this area. Maybe they don't get that deer on the first try. And we'd like to try to encourage them to stay here a little bit longer, and I'll get to that in a second. But a lot of those folks, of course, are stopping off at Ingalls and Woodbury or whatever, and hopefully, help them provide for some of your tax base. Next slide, please. So one of the things I just had to brag a little bit, I'm really proud of this place. I've been working on it for more than 20 years, and we've got it looking the way Pine Mountain used to look. It's open piney woods full of rabbits and quail and all the things that our grandparents got to enjoy. And so it's really come a long way. Beautiful, inviting open woods that are very pleasant to hike in and hunt in. Next slide. So to the matter at hand, we're trying to get access to a couple of parcels that we picked up about 2 years ago. The arrow is showing where the WMA occurs in Meriwether County. Next slide. Zooming in on it a little bit, we were approached by the owner of these 2 tracts, and they wanted to sell and wanted to know if we're interested, and we were. And so we picked them up a couple years ago and added to the WMA. Most of the rest of that area is stuff that dates back from when Georgia Power was going to put a dam on the Flint and all that, So it's been in state ownership for a good long while now. Next slide. The problem is the access to these tracts from the south is very difficult. If you've been up on Pine Mountain, I'm sure you have, that's a very steep ridge that's on our WMA, and these are the tracts that we bought. And so it only touches public roads in 2 places. This is Cartwright Road, and this is, I think it's John Gilbert Road, I believe. No, sorry, Gilbert Brown Road. And we've got it barely touches Cartwright Road, and we've got a problem with our users are parking on that road and blocking access for the locals that live back in there. They're making it hard to get in and out of that road. There's no place for them to pull off. And we can't put a road in there. It's a big, steep, tall bank, and there's really no way for us to push a road in there. On the other hand, on the Gilbert Brown Road, there's already an existing road going in. It's just got a blown culvert on it. And so we're trying to get that fixed. Next slide. So the county's been, I know you are aware, has been working on getting Gilbert Brown Road improved, and we got to a place where it was unclear whose land it was and whose road it was. And so we went out and hired a surveyor to take a hard look at that. And there's this quote, give you a second to read it. But in a nutshell, the blown culvert is on the county road, and it is not on our property. And so we're kind of at a loss as to how to fix it with state funding. Next slide. So I walked out there with the surveyor and found the pins. The pin's still there on the ground, the cement monument, that's right there. And the blown out culvert is up here. And so we're trying to get access through there for a lot of reasons. One is we need to be able to try to make these roads drivable for the public, so our users can get in there, and we can't get rock in there. We can't come down the mountain with a loaded dump truck, because I'm not brave enough to do that. I sure wouldn't ask anybody else to do that either. We don't have a road that comes in from the south that the public can use. They're one track rough roads, and you can just imagine two members of the public going opposite directions, coming head to head, and one of them has to throw it in reverse and try to either back up or back down the mountain. Just a matter of time before people start rolling off that mountain and getting hurt. We were hoping to get access in there obviously for law enforcement and fire issues. If you know much about Squirrel Bluff, you know there's a long history of arson fire out there, and we don't have a way to get in there right now, nor does GFC, other than plunging off that mountain in a bulldozer, which isn't anything I want to do either. And then lastly, we're trying to develop an RV campground. So the other campgrounds that I manage, we've got 3. They're in the Talbot side of the WMA, but we'd like to put one right about here, just inside the property line, just south of that blown culvert. And that would be a good road where an actual RV could get in there. We've put a campground down at the mouth of Pigeon Creek, but the road isn't the kind of thing you can get an RV down. The other places are not very RV accessible or RV friendly either. And our goal is to try to have this be a place where hunters can camp and have a big sort of bonfire in the middle and get to know each other, and hopefully spend more than, the morning hunting deer, spend some time and money in Meriwether County. So that's kind of my pitch to you in terms of one of the reasons why it might be of mutual interest to try to get this fixed. Next slide. So here's the blown culvert. You can see where the road bed is. It's a good road other than this one culvert. And, just past there, about 100 yards past there is where our road picks up, and we can get it all in good shape and get it rocked. Next slide, last slide. So I talked to Vice Chair Collins a little bit about this, and he asked some good questions, which is, why is this in Meriwether's interest? Why is this in the public interest? And so I think we've established it is a county road. We need to eliminate that nuisance parking problem. There's an RV camping opportunity. I'd like to be able to make this accessible to the residents, to the county, to where they can get in there and enjoy this place too. And then of course we've got law enforcement and fire access needs. And lastly, several of the parcels on the west side of our property, they actually access their parcels through us also. So they need that culvert fixed as well to be able to get to their property. All right. And I think that's everything I wanted to say. I appreciate the time and glad to answer any questions.
Can you back up to that the slide before last where it's blown out? All right, so those are trees growing up through the creek area, right?
Yeah, there's some small young trees, probably
right there.
a couple years old, 3 years old, something like that.
Could that not be what they call a dry bed or a rock? Could that not be graded and sloped down to where you got rock there and you can travel in and out that way?
I would love to see that, like a shallow water crossing. It wouldn't need it would make it a lot easier to maintain in the future. I know you guys are painfully aware of all the blown out culverts that happened in the last year. And, we're dealing with that too. And yeah, the smart fix is, so we don't have another blown out culvert in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, is to make it a shallow water crossing.
And you said there's some other folks that access their property on our side or back y'all side?
They would cross through here and cross the WMA on the northern edge in Meriwether County, and there's roads that go to those parcels on our west side.
So they have to go through your area to get to their property?
They do, yeah.
So how do they access it now?
There's some of them don't have access. Some of them are coming in through the Talbot side and parking on our common line. And walking down, they've got little hunt camps and stuff, trailers down in there. They can't get their vehicles to those RVs. They have to basically hike in to get to them now. None of them, to my knowledge, none of them are developed in terms of having a permanent residence on them, but there are, I know, 3 or 4 there that are along our west side.
So are you looking for the county to pay for this repair or to grant you authorization to do the maintain and take care of it?
To pay for the repair on the county road, which would be that blowout, yeah.
Because we have a dispute with that data, right, internally of whether that's county property or not.
Correct, Mr. Chairman. We researched it, and from Bill Cawthorn's perspective, he looked at it, and from Public Works, they always stopped at, Brown Gilbert has a trailer right there, and they've always stopped right there and maintaining it and turning around. From everything we can find, it was possibly a prescriptive right-of-way on Mr. Gilbert's land, because it's on the back end of his property, but we can't find anything in the deed books granting that perspective. And Mr. Nathan is right, there is a monument out there, and it is marked as indicated on his survey.
So does the county own that or not?
We're still researching, trying to find a definite answer in the deed books.
Our surveyor, and this is outside my area of expertise, said that he found an old survey that indicated that was a county road to that cement monument.
Well, he would have had to have found that in our county records and offices, so it'd be,
Yeah, it's something I
we would
can,
need to reach out to him maybe and say, okay, then what did you find? Because if we can't find it, how did he find it?
right, I'd be glad to put you.
We need to get an answer to it.
Yeah, I just need a
It's not
survey
our
information.
property. Obviously, we're not going to do anything on it.
Right.
And if it is our property, what if we find out that that section, that 100 yards belongs to the county, but yet it's been that way for a long time. There ain't no citizens in here saying they can't get to their house. So what if it belongs to us, what if we granted y'all permission to put a dry bed through there and have at it? Because we've already spent money out there on that road
Was not authorized.
that was not authorized. And we find out later that somebody said, go out there and fix it. And no disrespect, I love nature too, and I think it'd be great, but we've got a lot of roads in this county right now.
A lot of blown culverts, I
I
understand.
myself cannot see spending money there when I got citizens that can't hardly get to their house. But I would love to, if we were financially able to, I'd be probably one of the quick ones to make a motion, let's fix it, because I love nature and I love everybody doing it.
Appreciate
But
that.
I know that's not feasible at this time, and if those trees are growing up, obviously it hasn't been a big issue for too many people.
Been a few years. So what has happened is there's a workaround that cuts across the neighbor, and there is no easement, there is no right of access, or it's just his property. And in the past, he's been charging the hunt club, the neighbors, the timber company to cross his property, and there's no easement of any kind. And that's not an arrangement that obviously we can get into with the state of Georgia. I can't write them a check for $500 every time I need to get in there. And that's, my understanding is that was the.
No, but don't y'all have your own equipment and stuff that y'all manage all your own land?
I have 2 tractors one with a batwing mower and one with a little road
No,
grader.
I'm talking about you're with the
Yeah,
state
but
of Georgia.
DNR's got dozers and stuff, I guarantee you.
They all these big tracks y'all have, wildlife man and stuff, y'all have to go in there and cut berms, cut this, cut fire breaks, so forth.
We contract
If
it.
we was to give the permission to work at it, it couldn't cost the state that much to send some equipment over there and grade it down and bring some load of riprap in there first and dress it up and.
Yeah, we contract that work these days, just like with so many other things in government.
Yeah.
How long has the DNR had this property?
I believe it's been about somewhere in the order of 18, 20 months or something like that since we closed on it. It's been fairly recent by government moving anyway.
Yeah, it was like that when you bought it though,
Yeah,
correct?
it was, yeah.
Okay. Well, we obviously need to continue investigating to find out, do we own it or not? And then we can
Yeah.
put back on the agenda to discuss again.
I'll make sure you get that information from our
It'd
surveyor.
be helpful if whatever he found, share
Yeah.
that with our staff so that
I can do
we don't
that.
have to look as hard at it.
Yeah. Understand.
Commissioner,
Sometimes you can't
I
see
have
the
his
forest.
latest survey from his survey, and he does mention that it's an unmaintained county road. But looking in the deed books, I cannot find nothing concrete yet to say that is a county road. And that's what I've been trying to get down there and find out exactly, because the way it says, I mean, it's on the very back end of Mr. Gilbert's road.
Do we have a cost estimate of what we're looking at?
I'm a wildlife biologist, but I end up doing a lot of road stuff. My ballpark would be, $6,000 to $8,000 probably. It needs a new pipe and probably, I don't know what we're looking at, maybe 3 loads of dirt to put into it, something like that.
And have you asked the state before you came here that if we was to contribute, what they would contribute if we did it?
Well, my problem anyway is that it's not DNR land. And so there's I don't have the ability to spend money on property that doesn't belong to the state.
Yeah, but DNR is the one that needs to cross it, not the county.
Pardon me?
I said DNR is the one that wants to be able to drive their trucks across it, not the county.
Right, and I can fix up the roads right up to our property line, and I plan to, and I've got a budget for that. I can't fix somebody else's property. I mean, there's a lot of good reasons for that.
But then what if we did this, if we find out if there's another way to, and I don't know, that's why we rely on legal, but if we find that 100 yards is ours, what if we just deed it to y'all can have it?
Yeah, it's beyond my pay grade. I can't imagine what sort of ramifications that would have. Yeah. And I don't know if it's just an easement, like a county road easement on Gilbert Brown's property. I guess that's who owns that.
I believe so.
Yeah. It may not be that anyone owns it outright other than him and that there's an easement. And so. Yeah.
That's where staff is studying. That's what we think
That's what
is going on.
it
but-
is, yeah.
Because it's on the back end of his property. I don't see a county road going all the way back to the end of someone's property. It's not common.
And I'll be honest, six to eight, maybe $10,000 is not a huge amount of money. I think the heartburn of this board originally was that it is above approval level and the work was started without this board's knowledge or approval. So we finished getting the right data, make sure we're not fixing somebody else's road also, that it is our road, it's not yours or Mr. Gilbert's. And then we could probably work something out, I would think. But we need to get all of this finalized first and make sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed, and then we ought to be able to come to an agreement somehow.
Appreciate it.
I understand you can't spend money on private property, but you want the county to spend money to let you access your property.
Yeah,
We don't have any need to get over there.
right. Well, the public does, and that's who we're all serving.
Any more questions about this from the board?
I'm good.
Anything else you want to add?
No,
or
thank you for your time.
Okay.
Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
sir. Okay, and then y'all can provide us an update on the status of
Correct.
this
Yes,
at the
sir.
next meeting. Okay. Next item is the finance report.
Commissioners, in front of you had the bank balance as of about 4 o'clock today. All funds are still holding good. Finance has no issue with any funds. You do see 3 million in the general fund, but we just issued checks on the 25th. There's 11.8 million in the investment pool. We'll see what that brings on the interest around the next meeting that comes around the 5th or the 6th. Your second page of SPOS and T-SPOS commitments. SPOS balance is 446,7795 as of today. Everything that we have looked back and found commitment-wise is listed, including elections. T-SPOS available balance spend is 233,838.51. That includes a 30% minimum match. And then your LRA, you'll see the 2024 LMIG project for the $517,885.10.
So I know I probably already asked this, but every 2 weeks, my brain, I sleep sometimes and I forget half of what I did or learned. We already have the LMIG money for 2025.
Correct.
That's in there, yeah, okay.
That's part of the 3 million of the fund balance that needs to be transferred over to an investment pool.
Okay.
I usually do that near the end of the month because we gain interest off of 30 days.
Right.
So that's why that 3 million is kind of in flux a little bit. It's got a 870,000 LMIG money included in there.
So this is good, thank you. But I think as a board, we need to have a work session soon to discuss some other projects. We have funds that we can do work with, and then we have this interest money that we're earning that is not citizen money.
Correct.
We can do projects with and get some, we need to prioritize what those are, and let's get a work session together and let's figure that out.
Mr. Chairman, we were going to suggest to the board a work session in March. We were just trying to get through House Bill at 581 public hearings and not load February down.
I understand, I know we talked about it a couple times.
Yes.
We just need to keep bringing it up and make sure we all.
We'll send some dates out in March and see if March works. If not, it'll be April, but we do need to have one within the next 60 days.
Yeah, that's a tremendous opportunity with that kind of return we're getting there and with the amount of projects we got, we can do some things if we prioritize it right.
Crazy. I'm looking at probably 45,000 a month now if we keep 11 million in there.
Yeah. Good.
And I did move some other spots and T-spots because spots is growing. Why not stick it in and earn a little interest while we're waiting to spend it?
Exactly. Good idea. Any other questions about the finance report? Do we have any department heads speaking?
Got a couple of updates for department heads, Mr. Chairman. Let me find my paper. Recreation has 180 kids signed up for baseball,
80 or 8?
180. And that's age from, I think, T-ball, 3 or 4 year, and all the way up to, I think, 14U, so 180.
That's Meriwether County.
And Meriwether County.
Manchester and Meriwether combined, that's just Meriwether.
Randy just sent me the text just a minute ago, 180 kids signed up, female and male, for baseball and softball. Animal Control has Jordan's Way fundraiser going on tomorrow between 6 and 9. I know they have a hot wing eating contest. It's fundraiser for animals that Jordan Way does. And then elections, their building is moving extremely well. They only been at it for 12 days, but if you walk in that building, you would think they've been working at it for a month. So it is moving very quickly and very good. That's it for the department heads that were sitting over to me unless another department head is here to speak on anything.
I just give you a little quick rundown, for some stuff with the fire and back in January, I think it's January the 17th, something like that, we completed our annual inspection of all our EMS units, got those passed that with flying colors. We're doing our research for our EMS agency license. That'll be completed probably next week. Deadline of that is not till the end of March, but we'll be completed with that in the next week. It's mostly just paperwork stuff, medical director signatures, pharmacy signatures, things like that. So that'll be completed. We're wrapping up a EMTB class. Most of those students are doing their clinicals, and the clinicals are ride-alongs. They have to spend so much time on ambulances and get so many patient contacts and all that stuff's finalizing. Once that's completed and everybody's tested out for that, we will actually start our EMTA class. That's the next level of our EMT certification. We also have a just quick rundown of our incidents. So from January the 1st till current, we've had 344 calls of service. That's about 7 calls a day, on average. Out of those, 11 of those have been structure fires. 292 of those have been EMS calls, sick, general medicals, things like that. 3 hazardous conditions, 6 service calls, 24 good intent calls, and 8 false alarms. And that's pretty much what I have as far as just a rundown. I really hope to be, this data's coming from the new software that we purchased. You guys remember that? I think it's back towards November, something like that. So I'm hoping like the first of the month, the first meeting of the month, I'll be able to give you the data from the previous month. So that's what I'm striving and working toward doing. So you guys will have an idea of, our trucks are on the road a lot. They run up and down the road, taking people to the hospital, running fires, running emergency calls, running you name it. So it just kind of give you, put it in perspective of what we do.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions?
You said you just got through with the EMTB class?
Yeah, it's finalizing. I'm not completed with it yet, but we're finalizing it. They should be testing probably next 2 weeks.
Yeah, who teaches that?
I've got Robert Etheridge, Michelle Cannon, and I'm working on 2 more instructors. So they're in-house people that work here.
Who will teach you EMTA?
Same.
Same one?
Yes. That will start hopefully in April, but we're working to finalize that right now. So, yes, sir, Commissioner.
I'm not sure if I heard you mention or not, are the trucks we got from Coweta County, are they in service now?
I've been lettering those, so they just got lettered last week. I'm hoping another week or so we'll be swapping into those. I've got one it had to go for some minor repairs over at 10-8. Because it's got an airbag suspension on it, and one of the airbags had a leak in it. So we went ahead and replaced those 2 airbags so we can get those in service. But the other 2, one is here at Greenville, and one is out at Odessa at that station. And once those, Sandy's got a few more things, just maintenance wise we went completely through them. We done pump, made sure some of the pump packing, like it might have had a leaking valve or something. He fixed that. And then, some lights are out or this, that, and the other, and he fixed all that. So I'm hoping in the next week, maybe the week after, they're all in service. Because we're going to pull some of the equipment that we have on the trucks currently and put on those new trucks. So, and then make those other spare trucks. In case we have one go down, we can move it to a different location.
Check the tires on them too.
Oh yeah, they good. They good.
All right.
So,
I know these trucks are bigger than what we have. Have we got enough firemen trained to drive these? 'Cause I know they're set up differently than what we're.
yes, our month of January was spent doing driver training on those. Even though we hadn't put them in service yet, we were still able to fill them with water, drive them down the road. We had classes on doing the pump, because essentially they're the same trucks, but they just kind of designed different as far as the pump panels and things like that, and just a little bit of different buttons you had to mash. So we spent time with doing pump operations as well as driver training and all that stuff. So.
And all that's documented as to who's
Yeah.
like been trained to handle those.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely. I got training sheets on all those. So.
All right.
I'm good.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Is that all, department heads?
That's it, Mr. Chairman.
That's all for department heads.
We have no citizen comment.
No, sir.
So now on to the minutes, the confusing part of this. So, we made some mistakes as a board, and well, we're clarifying that. We're gonna get them straightened out here. So, item 1 is the minutes from February 3rd, 2025 special call meeting, tabled from January 20th at 6 p.m.
Commissioners, the minutes of the February 3rd, 2025 special call meeting at 6 p.m. were tabled until the February 25th meeting, which is tonight. Those that were in attendance on February 3rd were Chairman Worsley, Vice Chairman Collins, and Commissioner Snelson. Commissioner King and Commissioner Threadgill would need to abstain the vote.
I make a motion to approve the minutes February 3rd special call meeting.
I second.
All in favor?
I
Motion
abstain.
passes. All right. Item 2 is the minutes from the February 10th, 2025 regular meeting, 6 p.m. This should be normal. Is anyone absent in that meeting?
No.
So that's our regular scheduled meeting. I trust everyone had a chance to review them. We have a motion to approve them or not?
I make
So-
a motion, we approve them.
Second.
All in favor? Motion passes. Item number 3. We need to rescind the minute approval from February 11th, special call meeting at 6 p.m. Right. So,
No, I'm getting there.
who made that motion?
One second. The vote that was taken during the February 20th, 25 special call meeting at 6 would need to be rescinded. After the vote was taken and the minutes were approved, it was realized that Chairman Worsley was not in attendance for the February 11th, 2025 special call meeting. Those that were in attendance on February the 3rd were Vice Chairman Collins, Commissioner King, and Commissioner Snelson. So Chairman Worsley, you would need to abstain, as well as Commissioner Threadgill.
I'll make a motion to rescind and approve those minutes.
I second.
All in favor? You in favor?
Now, you rescinded the minutes,
Because
so,
I approved them and I wasn't there.
on February 11th.
I should not have approved them because I was not in attendance. So we're gonna rescind it and then reissue.
When did y'all approve the minutes? On February the 20th?
They approved the
25th.
minutes in the 20th, on the
I
20th.
wasn't here.
Right, you abstained that vote.
Yeah.
But you were here on this day of the 11th. You can approve this one.
It says
but you can't-
Vice Chairman Collins,
Are we voting to rescind the minutes?
Correct, rescind the minutes
Rescind the
first.
approval of the
for
minutes?
February the 11th, correct,
Yeah.
and then the correct people vote. You were here, so you can vote on those tonight.
I can vote on rescinding them?
Yeah, because you were in attendance for that meeting.
Okay,
Correct.
all right.
All right, all in favor and I'm abstaining. The next item is now to approve the minutes from February 11th, special call meeting at 6 p.m.
I
Same
make a motion to approve the minutes, February 11th, 2025, special call meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Ayes, nay. Fifth
You might
item.
want to check, because when I made the motion a while ago, I made the motion to rescind the minutes from February 11th and approve them,
Just scratch
It's
out.
okay. We
So,
can
because
just-
I did not see that was the next line,
Yeah,
so.
that's fine.
Okay.
It's fine, 'cause
Just-
they wanna
I just
have
want
it
to keep it straight for the minutes and open records.
Number 5 is rescind minute approval from February 18th, special call meeting at 6 p.m.
This one's a little tricky. The vote that was taken during February 20th, that special call meeting will need to be rescinded. After the vote was taken and the minutes were approved, it was realized that Commissioner King was not in attendance for the February 18th special call meeting. The motion was never rescinded during the February 20th, 2025 meeting and only tabled until tonight. Vice Chairman Collins was not present during the February 20th special call meeting, so he would need to abstain from the vote to rescind the approval of the 18th. Those that were in attendance on February 18th were Chairman Adam Worsley, Vice Chairman Emmett Collins, and Commissioner Snelson. Commissioner King and Commissioner Threadgill would need to abstain. So when you vote to rescind the minutes, Emmett would need to abstain
That's what I was thinking.
on this one.
Well,
You can approve rescinding minutes even if you were not in attendance.
That's correct, you can. It
So-
really doesn't matter.
Do we have a motion to rescind the minute approval?
I'll make a motion, we rescind the approval. of the minutes.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Okay, now, item 6, minutes from February 18th, 2025, special call meeting, 6 p.m. It was tabled from January 20th, 2025 at 6 p.m.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes.
second.
All in favor? You got to abstain.
You gotta abstain.
No, abstain. Okay.
Okay.
And if we could make a mention right here, since this is all on video and public record and so forth, so people understand, so they don't think we have commissioners here that just miss meetings all the time.
No.
These were the meetings that was for the House Bill
Correct.
558, and, right, 558?
581.
I still got it wrong. They was calling 358. But that was for the House bill that just had to have at least 3 in attendance.
Correct.
So we all called around, made sure you're gonna be there. We made sure there was a quorum,
At every meeting.
but it was just for the public to come in and talk and understand what was going on. So it made it work out for different ones of us up here to attend, that had to have 3 meetings and had that 1 meeting, so 4 meetings, and then a vote meeting. So I just want to clarify for those who are watching, listening, or go back and watch this, you don't have commissioners just miss the meetings all the time and don't care. It's just the way this worked out, and that's why it was so confusing. Thank you for that time.
Okay, item number 7, so the minutes of the February 20th, 2025 special call meeting at 6 p.m. 3 of us were in attendance, Commissioner Collins was not, Commissioner Threadgill was not.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes from February 20th.
And I'll second.
All in favor? That passes. All right, so we're done with that. Got it all straightened out.
I think so.
Now, what we do believe is according to Robert's Rules of Order, which is what we go by as a board, that you can approve meeting minutes even if you were absent from the meeting. That's not a requirement in Robert's Rules of Order. So
Correct.
can we clarify that with staff? And in the future, we don't have to do this again. As long as we have the meeting minutes, whether you're in attendance or not, read them, understand them, that you're voting to approve, that I understand them and accept them as they're written, that's all you're doing. So,
Yes, my understanding is the reason you've always done it is that it's been, tradition is not the right word, but it's been precedent that if you weren't here, you wouldn't vote on that for that particular reason because you were not there for that meeting.
well, personally, I'm fine with that. I respect that. May choose to do that myself at times. But if we make these type mistakes again, where 3 board members approve minutes that are printed and documented that we read, we shouldn't have to go back and do this again.
Makes sense.
Okay, no public hearings set here, no appointments. We got unfinished business. Item is staff update on the King Creek Bridge project.
Commissioner, since our last meeting, staff has identified the road discussed at the last meeting and is currently researching whether it was ever officially abandoned. After reviewing all available records, we were unable to determine if the county formally closed or abandoned Cane Creek Road at its intersection with Old Woodbury Highway and Bartee Road. Following discussions with individuals familiar with the properties, it is recommended that the county engage with the landowners along the old road to regain access in the right-of-way needed for reopening. To our knowledge, the primary challenge in restoring this section of the road would be installing a culvert across Cane Creek to provide access to all property owners affected by the bridge closure. Staff is requesting the board's approval to initiate discussions with relative landowners, Kim Brothers Farms LLC, Cane Creek Ranch LLC, and JRL PB Investments LLC to negotiate right-of-way access for reopening Cane Creek Road from Old Highway 85/Bartee Road to the closed railroad bridge. And as we get the landowners access back to the property that they're trying to get to and not spend $400,000 on a bridge that we would spend and then close down.
So right now, all you need is permission from us to engage in that conversation.
Correct.
Okay.
But like I said, I don't believe you need to talk with nobody but Kim Brothers. Cause they own land on both sides of the road to the bridge. Once you get across the bridge, it's Cane Creek Ranch and JRL PB Investments, and they want you to get across the thing. You know, they want you to get over that.
Yes,
The only
sir.
problem you're gonna have is Kim Brothers.
We were still just negotiate with all of them just to make sure everybody's on the same page.
So you're saying once you cross the bridge, coming from 85?
No, coming from Old Durant Highway, Old Woodbury Highway.
Yeah, coming from that way. But when you're coming from, you go down through Woodbury, head towards Manchester, what highway is that?
85.
Well, it's old.
That's 85, right?
Yeah, it's about.
So if you
70.
come that way, when you cross the bridge, does,
The creek.
when you cross, the wood bridge, it goes over the railroad track. That's what we're talking about,
He
right?
ain't talking about crossing that bridge.
No, but before the conversation was whether we repaired that bridge or not.
Right.
Correct.
Right. So I'm just saying, I thought I understood you say that on the other side of that bridge.
No,
all
on the
goes
other side of the
first-
creek.
the creek. Down there where all the other work was done,
Yeah.
not from the county, the other guy.
No.
So,
You know where Sims Bark is?
He brought it up on the
A
screen.
quarter of
for
a
you.
mile from Sims Bark's where Cane Creek Road comes out on the old Woodbury Highway.
Okay.
Go in that way to Cane Creek and cross.
Yes, okay, all right.
On the other side of Cane Creek is Cane Creek Ranch and JRL property. On this side of the creek is Kim Brothers.
Okay, now I got you.
So they're the ones you gotta talk to.
Okay.
Once you cross the creek, them guys are gonna be glad you gotta cross it.
Okay. Just make sure I
It's
understood.
my fault.
so the damaged crossing, is it at
It's
the
gone.
creek or is it at the railroad tracks?
No, it's at the
Coming
creek.
from this
What-
way,
What he's
it's
trying to
the
do
creek.
is,
Yeah.
he's trying to
That's a blackout
access,
culvert across Cane Creek.
he's trying to access that property without fixing the railroad bridge.
Right,
So they're both bad and out.
That's right.
The other one's been
That's
out
what I'm
since the
asking.
sixties. Cane Creek has been out
Right.
since the sixties.
So both of
Before
them's
that.
bad, now they're wanting to fix around the creek so they can get to their property.
Yeah, the property between both of those bridges.
Okay.
That's why I was
Stab believes
asking.
that'd be an alternative, cheaper route to
See,
go
what
than
I
the bridge.
found out through talking to previous commissioners from back in 2000 was the state made the commissioners close Cane Creek Bridge, that trestle bridge, in 2000 to get any more state funds. Well, when they closed that road, they went down to Pilgrim Rest Road and forded the creek down there and gave the landowners access through Pilgrim Rest Road to get to that property.
Is this
Well, that-
documented in file?
I have.
We can't find
I
that.
can't find where we gave access on Pilgrim Rest Church Road. What
Let's
I,
pause here for a second. So is it documented that the state forced us to close the road to be able to get state funds in the future?
I found in the minutes, it goes all the way back to 1988. I found where they said, it's very confusing because at one part, we're told that we're responsible for the bridge. There's note minutes in here that say that CSX is responsible for the bridge. There's minutes where they closed the road closed the road in 2001, then it was reopened in 2007. There's minutes in here that the state said 30 roads needed to be closed in the county because they were not used. They had public hearings on Pilgrim Rest Church Road. It was not closed. They decided to leave that open, and the county was responsible for maintaining Pilgrim Rest. I cannot find anything specific that says the state's not going to give funding. I do see in some of the minutes where the state had given $40,000 to repair that bridge. Don't see where it was done. Then there's minutes in here that say, let me go to this one.
That was a commissioner telling me that.
Correct.
Oh, well, I know, but as we go through that, make sure, do we have that in documentation somewhere?
He also told me they put that Ford across the creek. And when I went down there, when they took it out, it was rebar and all that in it. So somebody did it.
Looks like in 2013, Attorney Tyron Elliott discovered the road was not properly closed. The cost of the CSX bridge repairs was $140,000. Nothing happened for 1 year. Mr. Valente paid the balance remaining on the construction of the bridge. Mr. O'Neill contacted CSX, and finally they agreed to pay $40,000, and Mr. Valente paid the remainder. The county must now take possession of the bridge and maintain it forever. The bridge remains in CSX name, and CSX wants to know when the board will sign off and take ownership of the bridge, and that's the last in 2013.
That's a different bridge, though. That's the bridge that goes over the railroad track.
That's right.
That's two different things we're talking about.
I can't find
So
anything.
we own, based on that, it's documented that now we own and maintain that bridge that goes over the CSX tracks
Correct.
on whatever road that is.
Correct.
Well, the other bridge, the bridge that goes across Cane Creek, there's nothing about it. It was closed in the 50s and
Correct.
60s.
Right.
We don't have anything about it.
I
Why are
can't
we
find,
discussing it?
I can't find anything on that.
Because the
Trying to
landowner,
give those
that's what I was
landowners-
getting to, coming in off 85, the landowner that owns the land on both sides, coming in on 85, when he gets to the railroad bridge, he can't cross it. He's got all this land back here for hay and all that. He hasn't had access to it since last summer.
He can't cross the railroad bridge.
Yeah, because it's closed.
State closed it.
It's closed. So he has not been able to go back to his property at all unless he goes all the way around the Pilgrim Church Road and then comes up to another man's property.
Right, I guess, so we're back to the railroad bridge.
But they're saying if we fix Cane Creek coming in through the,
Yeah, let's hang on. Did the state force us to close the railroad bridge after they forced us to fix it and take ownership of it?
Correct.
Then the state said, close this bridge over the
Correct.
railroad track.
Yeah.
Correct.
because they don't want it falling down on the track.
Okay? So that road's closed by the state. We're
The
not
bridge
fixing
The
that
bridge is closed, not the road.
Right, so we're not fixing that. So we go back to the Cane Creek thing then, it was closed in the 50s and 60s, these people purchased this land knowing there was no way to access it. The state comes in and tells us to close this, why is that Meriwether County's problem?
That bridge was just closed earlier this year over the railroad track. So they had
access.
they had access to it up until the state came in and forcibly closed that bridge.
So their argument is with the state, not with Meriwether County.
Well, no, the state closed, the CSX closed the bridge, not the state. CSX closed the bridge because they can't have debris falling on the track with a train coming. So if they closed it, but yet you got minutes
to the
that
minutes,
we
we're
took responsibility of it years ago, they're closing it and saying, y'all ain't maintained it, y'all ain't fixed it.
CSX didn't close
Who closed it?
it. DOT.
Correct. CSX DOT.
DOT inspects all bridges, and they inspected
Okay.
that bridge and closed it.
So what do you, I mean?
Okay, so if we have a bridge on any other county road, DOT closed it.
Do you have a map of the road, John?
On the screen.
Is that it? Blow it, can you blow it up?
Yeah, so this
All right,
is
that-
where it crosses the railroad.
That's where it crosses the railroad.
And the state told us, shut that down,
Close the bridge.
okay?
Now,
It's
you
unsafe.
have
But you-
this right here is one property owner, this parcel and this parcel. You have this parcel here and this little parcel here, this one property owner. And then you have this parcel here. Now, this property owner has.
Ask Kim
access
Brothers.
off of here to their property. It's this one, and this that has no access.
Go back up, go back to the, take it off satellite, there you go, take it off satellite. All right, the jagged line is where the creek is.
Right. Yeah.
Come down with your map, son. All right, right there. The jagged line's where the creek is. That bridge has been out since the sixties. And it goes up to Old Durand Road. So what they were thinking is we make it cross that creek cheaper than we could fix the bridge.
I understand that, but at this point, if the DOT forced closure of that bridge, then the county's not liable for anything. Now, should investigate how we help our citizens, I'm not saying that. But the state should help fund fixing that to access their property, since the state closed their only access to their property.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think back in the day, the state did, and we've already fixed that one time, if I'm not
If
mistaken.
I understood what you read, it was for that railroad bridge, 40,000, and the other owner put 140 with it. That was the railroad bridge.
That's the same one I'm talking about, right?
No,
Or am I-
yeah.
Okay.
So the state closed that one. They took us taking ownership of it away by forcing us to close it. Now the
No.
state's impacting, the landowners don't have access to their property now because the other side of the road's been closed for 70 years.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes.
If you pick another road here in the county that we have everyday traffic on,
Mhm.
and DOT goes out there tomorrow and inspects it, and goes, ooh, this is dangerous, and calls up here and tells him to close the bridge, it'll be our responsibility to get those people, our citizens, still cross there somehow. It doesn't come that, we don't tell the citizens, y'all take it up with the state, they close it, not us, so I agree with finding a better way to go in to keep spending 400,000, but we can't look at it as the state closed it, so it's not our problem, because it's on our road. The road wasn't closed, the bridge was. So I think what the discussion is to keep away from spending $400,000 on a wood bridge just so they can get back there and cut hay. Would it be cheaper, like Commissioner Collins saying, is to come in the other way and fix that creek where they can, unfortunately, the guy that owns this land has to go into town, go around and circle back and get to his property instead of just going down through his farm to this property. Which is inconvenient, but we could do what's best financially for the county. If there was a lot of homes down that road, we couldn't tell those citizens that if that's the case, when they start closing some of these roads around these dirt roads, we wouldn't have to be fixed on them.
So you just need authorization from us to engage those property owners to come up with a solution.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, do we have a motion from the board for that?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you, Commissioners.
There's a lot of history on that.
I see. Oh, man.
New business. Item 1 is approval from the board to open 2025 T-Splosh bank account at F&M Bank.
Commissioners, the 2025 T-Splosh, which will be T-Splosh 3, is set to take effect April 2025. In preparation of the funding, staff is seeking authorization to open a new bank account at F&M Bank under the title 2025 T-Splosh with the approved 2025 bank signers. And our current 2020 T-Splosh is at F&M Bank.
We have to keep each T-Splosh.
We don't have to, we just like to give everybody in the county a little bit of the funding from the county. So,
Long as that works out equal, I'm fine with it.
and since they have the 2020 T-Splosh, it'll be easier with the state just to change account number instead of routing in account number. It just makes it easier in finance
I think it
to
helps
keep
with
it there.
transparency too, just to
Who
see
has
where
the,
this
who
is
has
at.
the 2020 T-Splosh?
F&M Bank. It is T-Splosh 3 just because the second page behind it classifies the current T-Splosh as T-Splosh 2, but it's actually the first T-Splosh for Meriwether County. This will be the second round, but I'm assuming the state is calling it T-Splosh 3.
Because I think that we had a T-Splosh on the ballot before you could do single county that did not pass, so that's why it moved to 3.
Okay,
I make a motion to open a new account at F&M Bank under the title 2025 T-Splosh.
I'll second.
all in favor? Okay. Item number 2, approval from board to open recreation department bank account at United Bank.
Commissioner staff is requesting to open a new bank account titled Recreation at United Bank where Lake Meriwether is currently held. This way the funds don't get intermingled between Recreation and Lake Meriwether. This account will assist staff in preparing the annual budget by accurately recording revenues and expenses. It will primarily be funded through concession sales and sponsorships, with expenditures covering concession supplies and uniforms. The majority of this funding will continue to come from the general fund. This is just more of a tracking, recreation type spending instead of running it all through the general fund. Just more transparency and cleaner accounting.
Any questions by the board?
I make a motion to open a bank account at United Bank in Woodbury entitled Recreation to track revenue received by the department.
Second.
All in favor? Item 3, approval to give 60-day notice to terminate lease at the Elections Building rental at 133 South Court Square.
Commissioner, staff is requesting approval to issue a 60-day notice to, it should be Alan Hand, not Angela Hand, regarding the space rented by Elections for election equipment effective March 1st, 2025, with a vacate date of April 30th, 2025. Legal has reviewed the contract and has signed off on it, and we just need a motion to allow the chairman to sign the letter, give the 60-day notice.
So that's the one that the
Board of Elections is renting for the storage of
the
equipment.
storage at the election boxes.
Correct.
Is the other office going to be completed in 60 days?
Yes, sir. He's moving very quickly. I mean, if you go there now, it looks like it's a month's worth of work in 12 days.
So the security part of it will be completed and done in 60 days. If we vote now to terminate this lease in 60 days, that has to be ready.
Yes, sir. It's in the contract. It has to be ready by April 18th. And this gives Patty 12 days to get everything out of their storage facility, but she doesn't see it taking more than a couple of days.
Any other questions by the board? Do we have a motion
I'll make a motion
to do what?
to approve the 60-day notice to terminate lease election building rental at 133 South Court Square.
And allow the chair to sign.
And the chair to sign.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Item 4, consideration and approval of EMS power stretcher and cot for the new ambulance box remount.
Commissioners, I'll speak on this and I'll let Chief Stevens speak on it. Staff is requesting approval for the purchase of a power stretcher and a cot for the new ambulance box being remounted by Custom Truck and Body Works. The cost is $63,317. We do have a second quote from Stryker for $72,851.37. This was a budget line item under EMS equipment lease and maintenance budget. And when we discussed the budget, we did say anything that came out of this line item, we will bring back to the board for approval because it was titled lease and maintenance budget. But since that, me and Chief Stevens had a conversation that we would like to see 2 or 3 ambulances get fitted for this $165,000, and then next year maybe do 1 or 2 ambulances and just move it along smoothly. And I'll let Chief Stevens add anything that he would like to add to this.
So this cost is in the budget?
Yes, sir, Mr. Commissioner King. It is a line item, budget item under EMS equipment lease and maintenance, and it had $165,000 in there.
I mean, anybody got any questions? That's pretty much, this is a system that we only purchased 1 new stretcher out of the 3 new ambulances that we've had remounted, and they're starting to get some age on some of our other stretchers and things. Some of those things are 10, 12 years old. This is a system, it's a cot and a system that actually loads the stretcher into the ambulance. I've had 2 workers' comp claims in the last month with lifting patients. One was an elbow and one was a back. So this is gonna alleviate that strain because we have the power stretchers, they'll let up, but this has like horns on the back of it, and it actually pulls the stretcher into the back of the cot into the back of the ambulance. And then when you pull it out, there's no way of there's been occurrences with different departments before where there's a little, I call it like a cow horn, like on a saddle or something like that, a saddle horn. It catches the stretcher. But if you get a piece of debris or something down there, that thing may not catch, and your stretcher can actually roll out of the back of the truck. This alleviates all that. And it actually pushes the stretcher out, and it lets the legs and everything down, and then you just roll the stretcher into the hospital.
And this is on all of them?
No, not yet. That's why we put it in the budget. We were gonna do the lease program. You guys remember talking about that? we're gonna do a lease program with Stryker to get some cardiac monitors, stretchers, and, maybe some AEDs, John, I can't remember exactly all. And we didn't want to do the lease program because of the interest. So when it was put in the line item, we were like, we'll buy as much as we can out of this line item, and then next year, if we get the same dollars, we'll buy that way we're not paying the interest on the equipment. And I figured right now with us getting that new ambulance, this would be a perfect time since I got that line item for that equipment to go ahead and have custom put it in there when they got it, you know, and then when we take delivery of it, it'll be equipped with that equipment.
I mean, I wish we could afford to do all of them, but
Yeah,
How's that gonna-
I think it's a perfect time with a brand new ambulance remounted and all that. I make a motion to approve
excuse me, sir, I wasn't finished talking. Let me.
all right, go ahead.
I'm sorry, but I'm agreeing with you, but what I was getting at is, how do you determine, like, that one's got it, the rest don't? So we're gonna make sure the stronger, bigger, firefighters that are at least happening. In other words, if you ain't got it, you're still gonna have workman's comp claims of people hurting their back and hurting their elbow.
That's right. I'm gonna try to take that remaining amount in that line item budget. Because I talked with the guy at Custom today I said, hey, look, am I looking about the same price to do the outfit the others? And it's what, 160 something thousand in that line item?
165.
So I can at least do another one, I know. So I'm gonna go ahead and do at least one more, and then hopefully come October, I can do a third one. And then, you know, if we get that fourth ambulance at some point, we can go ahead and put that in there as well.
Our workers need something like that. Did you ask if we went ahead and do two of them, could we get a break?
If you look, the Stryker price is from our vendor directly. Custom is 10 grand less than that. So I'm trying, and I
I'm
talked.
saying if you was to call Custom back and go, hey, I
can ask him.
I think the board's gonna let us get two of them done instead of one.
Yeah,
Can we save some money?
I can ask him. I'll call him and check.
Alright.
So.
I'm done, sir.
Okay, do we have a motion from the board?
Sure.
I think so.
The only thing staff would ask with the motion, commissioners, is that it be based off a updated quote from Custom, because that quote was dated February
13th, 2025.
So we would need an updated quote and allow the chair to sign.
So we need to approve a not to exceed amount?
That's what I do, but I don't think that quote's that old. How long do they hold that open?
It's good for 10 days, so the 23rd,
So, yeah,
it just
it's about 10
expired.
days.
I really do not see that changing.
No. And I was gonna say, just condition upon a new quote dated for the same price, the board allow the chairman to sign the quote, or
So you could
allow
do-
the staff.
You could do an up to amount. That might be the easiest
Yeah,
way
that's
to
what I'm
do
gonna do.
it. That way you. if
They
you-
can allow the
if
county
it's within
administrator
the same
to sign.
amount, then when they get the new quote, you'll be fine.
I make a motion to approve the MTS power load and the 6507 Power Pro 2 purchased from Custom Truck Bodies not to exceed $63,317.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Thank you, commissioners.
Okay. Item 5, staff update on November Lane.
Commissioners, I think it was 2 meetings ago, we had a citizen come and ask about November Lane. I visited November Lane and confirmed that the signage has been updated to white lettering and is marked as a private road, now reading November Lane PVT in white letters. Attached are photos of the area, which shows that November Lane slopes into Crawford Creek Road. Based off of staff research, records from April 22, 1981 indicate that the property owners at that time granted the easement to another property owner. However, after further investigation and discussions with Mr. Dunlap, he located a survey from March 22, 1991, which still reflects that easement. Mr. Dunlap has since informed staff that none of the original property owners or the heirs are currently on this property or residing in the area. His family is now the sole owner of the property on November Lane, leading to the conclusion that the easement should no longer be in place and that the road has historically been private. Additional minutes from November 23rd, 2010, the board showed that the board previously requested a right of entry agreement from property owners to allow the county to conduct necessary repairs. And after speaking to Mr. Dunlap, he has requested assistance from county to repair the road. I haven't went out there and spoken directly with Mr. Dunlap to see what the county needs to do on the road or what he's requesting, but you can see the pictures that there is a slope. So from Crawford Creek Road, I do not see the water how it's running onto November Lane because of the slope downward into Crawford Creek. And then third picture is actually me standing on the entranceway, looking down and taking a picture, and I don't see but dirt and a little gravel. I don't see ditches or anything like that. I didn't want to go further than that than speaking to Mr. Dunlap and having him escort me on that private property, just for my own safety. And then the fourth picture shows you another angle as well, where it's just a flat surface. Now, it may be further downward that it needs assistance, and they brought in a bottle of water from the well where it's discolored, and that's not uncommon when the rain comes down, that your well water will be discolored. But I just need to get with Mr. Dunlap and see what he's requesting and bring it back to the board. But this is just an update to the board since a citizen requested an update on November Lane. Staff has looked into it, and we're still investigating what needs to be done.
So we did find where this is a private road, it's not county.
Correct.
And we did find meeting notes that 15 years ago, the board authorized county employees to go out and do some work.
Correct.
With written consent from the landowner.
Correct.
So that may be where some of their confusion is, that the county did go with consent from them trying to, in good faith, help. But it's
And they
not
did,
assuming
and they
the county
did,
knows.
they looked like to me they did that work because they determined that the water was coming off of a county road and washing the November Lane.
Correct. I think you're right, Commissioner Collins. And like I said, from looking at Crawford Creek is flat, November Lane slopes down. I've never seen water run uphill. It may not, but I don't see how Crawford Creek is running onto November Lane with almost a 15 to 20 degree slope coming off November Lane. But I can surely reach out to Mr. Dunlap and see what he's actually asking and requesting further down on the private road. I just didn't feel comfortable going further past a couple feet on a private road, an unmarked county vehicle or unmarked uniform. It says I'm not a county employee.
I just don't think we need to make it a habit of getting on private property.
I agree.
So no action that need to be taken.
No, sir, this is just an update, just so it's on the record since we had a citizen request the staff looking at November Lane.
Okay. Any other discussion about that? No, sir. All right, next is report from county administrator.
Commissioners, we have attended a leadership training that was 5 days. The majority of the department heads and upper management attended this training. It's very helpful trying to get the managers to engage with their employees. Attended the House Bill 581 public hearings. We will hand deliver those documents to the Secretary of State tomorrow. I had a finance director interview on yesterday, made an offer. I'm waiting to see if they send a response. They accept or deny that offer. Got a public works director interview on Thursday. Researched November Lane and Crawford Creek. Attended a tax assessor meeting. I have a recreation director interview on March 5th. I'll be attending the Lone Oak meeting on March 3rd. And the audit, I got word from the audit, we're about 90% done and only 3 weeks in to the audit. So everything's been running pretty smoothly with all the processes I put in place with finance. So they told me everything, within 2 weeks, they were about 80%, they just hit 90. Once we finish with the IDA, we'll be at about 95. And I got a call with them on Thursday. We should hit our March 31st deadline for the first time in quite some time. And I am trying to work on seeing what that financial weakness and see if we can get that removed, because I think we have remediated all issues that the auditors may have had with our financial close.
Thank you.
And that's all I have, Commissioners.
Okay, report from county commissioner. Commissioner Collins?
I just like to thank staff and employees for all the work they do, and I went to a class yesterday about federal and state regulations, and I learned a good bit, and I got some good contacts for Allison on some grant writing,
Oh, gosh, okay.
and that's all I have.
Commissioner Snelson?
I'd just like to have it so that next month on our agenda, we discuss the commissioner packet that we get being made available to the public the day of the meeting online on our website. That way, for transparency, our citizens can see, and that way if they want to look it up ahead of time, they can have an idea what we're going to be talking about if they choose to look it up. And I've been riding some of the dirt roads, and I'm proud to see some of the work that's been done. And I've had a lot of citizens email me and text and say thank you. So I thank the citizens for keeping an eye out, and everybody, let's work together.
Commissioner King?
Same as always, we appreciate all the work our employees in Marietta County perform each day in their duties. The patching stuff must be going pretty good. I've had several people call me and go, wow, they come out here and they patch this and that. And had a lady the other day on Williams Circle call me and she goes, there's 4 potholes out here. The school bus has to go completely around them to keep from falling off in them. And I said, well, I'll give them a call. And it wasn't 48 hours later, she texted me and said, thank you, they did a great job. So all I did was turn it over to Public Works and Barry and them got right on it. And so those homeowners out there are pleased to see that we're patching holes, and the ones we are patching seem to look a lot better than what we used to do. So I'm glad we're getting some of that done for the citizens, because we have the potholes. Other than that, thanks to everybody.
Commissioner Worthley?
Just like to thank everybody for the job they're doing and just keep up the good work. Everybody's important and everybody's working hard, so thank you. Report from county attorney
I have no report. Do we have need for executive session?
We do.
for litigation and personnel.
Litigation, personnel, and real estate. And Mr. Chairman, I forgot to mention one other thing, the update on Piedmont. The culverts, they were waiting on sheeting and piling to be delivered, it's in, but the rains have caused the water levels to be too high. They're waiting for it to recede a little bit, and that's for Tigner Road and Trammell Road. And for the potholes, patching, they were behind, and they anticipate starting on that within the next week or two, and that's for Mount Carmel Road, Rocky Mount Road, King Road, and Flat Shoals Road. But after that, I think with the patcher up and running, we will be using in-house instead of
And
outside.
Sullivan Mill Road to that Mount Carmel while they're over there.
Which one was that one again?
Sullivan Mill Road.
Sullivan Road.
They were on
There's
King
3
Road doing great
potholes over
today.
there, knock your front end alignment out.
I'll get the patching crew over there.
What's that?
I'll get the patching crew over there.
Don't forget about Hardy and Waterloo Street.
Hardly.
Well, are they running just one crew or?
It's a 4-man crew, and I think they're alternating between 2 different crews so they have experience
I
on
just
it.
wondered, like when I went out there that day and met with the patcher, that guy told me that you could bring another trailer over here with a tarpaulin on it and blow the material on that trailer, and that trailer could go somewhere else.
We're looking at all options, and we'll probably have to buy some more of that BAM product. I think it's holding up very good, and I think the citizens are very happy with it. Barry's pleased with it. It's water soluble, but it's curing a whole lot better than that cold patch. So Barry's very pleased with that product.
Said it's doing better.
It's doing better, and I haven't had a chance to go out there and look at it yet, but I want to see if it held up through the rain, the cold, the heat, to see if it's holding better than the cold patch. But from all indications, it is holding up very well.
All right, future meetings and notices, March 10th. I'm not ready yet, I'll read the meeting notices and then.
Y'all typically read off the future meetings, and then y'all make your
Oh,
motion
I
to go
thought
into
he asked
executive
somebody to
session.
make a motion, and he said, well, I'm sorry.
I asked him, do we have need for executive session?
Okay,
He
that's
said
fine.
yes.
Excuse me.
So future meeting notices, March 10th, 6 PM, regular scheduled meeting. That's a Monday, and then Tuesday, March 25th, regular scheduled meeting at 6 PM. So now do I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Executive session at 7:22. Second?
Second.
All in favor? I get a regular session at 8:41. There's no action taken in executive session. No other business to come before the board, so do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Then a second?
Second.
All in favor? We are adjourned.